Well, back in 2020, at the height of the Black Lives Matter riots, WNBA player Brittney Griner said the national anthem has no place in sports. Well, you fast forward to today, and she's been held in a Russian prison since February on drug smuggling charges. And as her trial kicks off in Moscow, the basketball star invoked her American pride in a letter to President Biden, saying this in part, quote, "On the 4th of July, our family normally honors the service of those who fought for our freedoms, including my father, who was a Vietnam War veteran. It hurts thinking about how I usually celebrate this day because freedom means something completely different to me this year." Well, maybe she's finally seeing that freedom isn't free, and everyone in the world doesn't celebrate the freedoms we do here in America. Joining us now with reaction is editor-in-chief and podcast host of The Foreign Desk, Lisa Daftari. Lisa, welcome to the show. It's good to see you. You know, a lot of question out about why President Putin, Russian President Putin, is detaining Brittney Griner for so long. From what you've seen, why is he holding her for this long? I mean, what reason does he have?
Right. So we know that Putin is a statesman and everything he does is on his chessboard and is calculated many steps ahead. So in this case, Russian media has alluded to the fact, and obviously it makes perfect sense, that he would keep a lightweight detainee like this, an American who's being held on, on having marijuana vapes, cartridges in her luggage. Well, speculation is that they want to have some sort of prisoner exchange. And who do they want in exchange? Well, arms dealer Victor Bout. He's being held for 25 years on conspiracy to kill U.S. citizens and also providing aid to a terrorist organization. So they're keeping this basketball player as a pawn. She's obviously a visible character and hoping to get much more in exchange.
How does she, as a hostage or prisoner, compare to other folks? Right? It's odd to see the charge doesn't seem to merit
No.
the sentence that she's getting and what they want in return. How does this compare to other people that Russia has charged with crimes and what they've asked for in return?
Yeah, it's a good question. Obviously, the punishment's not fitting the crime here, but we have to look at the timing, right? So U.S. sanctions are coming down hard on Russia. They don't want to admit to it. They haven't defaulted just yet. We're talking about perhaps oil being cut off and really affecting us, perhaps even tripling the price of gas here in the United States. So, Putin has really kept his cards close, and obviously having a female African-American a gay basketball player who's a very visible character. Obviously, she's not going to sit around and stay quiet about her detention, and neither is her wife. She will get headlines, and perhaps this letter is even a propaganda stint. We don't know who maybe even encouraged her to write the letter or even forced her to write that letter. We've seen that a lot in hostage situations like this one. And, if for Putin to hold someone like this, a visible, again, character who is pleading with the United States and to Biden on July 4th, again, a lot of optics here. Perhaps she's pulling at the heartstrings of Americans and the American media and hopefully trying to get to President Biden.
I do want to go back to who Russia is trying to swap for. You brought up Victor Bout, who was actually dubbed as the Merchant of Death. And he is in the middle of a 25-year sentence for, as you mentioned, conspiracy to kill Americans. I mean, not a good guy, not good at all. Should the U.S. engage in this type of swap? Obviously, there's negotiations going on, but do you see any world where they would engage in this type of swap for a WNBA player?
Right. It's the million-dollar question here, right? I mean, what are we supposed to do? And again, this situation, I don't know if it would be any different under a different administration. We know that this administration obviously has been extremely weak on foreign policy, on having that kind of global stature and respect in many, many ways. But we are also in the midst of heavily supporting Ukraine, giving billions of dollars in aid, in humanitarian aid, weapons, etc. I don't know if there would be a situation where we would sit down and try to negotiate with Russia without first seeing that Putin is taking some sort of off-ramp or backing down from his invasion of Ukraine or showing any signs of wanting to sit down to compromise on what's going on in Ukraine. We've given them, we meaning the international community, the United States, obviously, President Zelensky has hinted to it many, many times that he is ready to sit down to talk negotiations, but Putin is just not ready. Now, if you take that and put that aside. Now, how would the United States now come onto the sidelines and say, well, we want to sit down and talk about a prisoner exchange, and one that makes, again, no sense. One someone who is being held up on Trump's charges on having marijuana versus the merchant of death, as you said.
Well, and not just that, but I think what's interesting here is this is a guy who just bombed a shopping center and killed civilians in Ukraine this past weekend and was unapologetic about it. And somehow we think that he's going to see the light about a WNBA star and having some marijuana vapes. I mean, this is where I'm kind of intrigued. It's like he's killing unarmed civilians in Ukraine on a daily basis, and yet I don't understand what the administration thinks they're going to negotiate with when it comes to this one woman. I don't know why Putin would care, and that's where I'm so intrigued about this, because he's on the one hand just being brazen in what he's doing in Ukraine, and then the administration's trying to act like they're doing all this hard work.
Right. And, it's pretty hopeless, her situation. And Sean, you bring up a great point. But from where I sit, because I cover these stories day in and day out, from where I sit, I question, the global reaction to all of this. We had a reporter, and no loss of life is ever justified. And I don't want to seem like I'm just being flippant about that. But we had a journalist that was killed in the territories in Gaza. And there was, so much controversy about this, and so much global outcry about one death, and you have civilians being bombed, going to the mall and shopping in Ukraine, and you don't really see any outcry about that. You hardly see any headlines about that, and you have to question, where is the global outcry about all of this, and why is it so disproportionate when it comes to this particular war? This is pretty hopeless. Look, again, you read her letter, you feel badly for her, even though, like you said, in 2020 she talked about how the anthem is not something she believes in, the flag. She's going to stay in the locker room and not come out onto the court. I mean, she represents America. And now look, in her moment of distress, obviously she's talking about American freedom, and she's talking about, obviously holding out her hand and hoping that someone on the other side in America will come out to free her. So it's a lesson learned for those who really are ungrateful for this country, particularly yesterday as people tried to cancel the 4th of July because some policies that they believe in are being overturned or changed. But it's definitely a lesson learned. Obviously, our hands are tied in a lot of ways when it comes to foreign policy, not because her life is not important or any life is not important. All lives are important, but sometimes our hands are tied because the policy at hand is much larger and much more significant on a larger scale.
Yeah, very complicated situation. Lisa, appreciate your insight. Thanks for being here with us.
Of course. Thank you.